This new phase is nothing like the last because you are unaffected by your environment. So, it seems like you've entered a new chapter or phase. You've experienced a rebirth. You could be seeing repeating ones or sixes. You could be seeing a lot of ones or sixes. This new phase is nothing like the last because you are unaffected by your environment. Or at least not as easily impacted as you once were by your environment. When I say environment, I mean energies outside of yourself. For some of you, your home life, it doesn't support you at the core. And it was difficult for you to keep your head above water. But what I'm seeing now is that you've reached a frequency that now keeps it to where your head is above water naturally. You were just learning how to swim in the middle of a storm, when the tide was going every which way but the way that you were trying to go. You were fumbling, being mistreated, you were misbehaving, you was doing whatever. It felt like it was impossible to get to where you currently are, to be unaffected by your environment, by your surroundings. So let's say that usually, again, using the living space as an example, a lot of people, when they're on the come up, they're like, yeah, man, just where I live, like, everyone's so stressed, everyone's this, everyone's that. What we all come to realize is that that environment was a test of your character, to see who you are, where you stand in this dynamic, to show you the truth, the realities, so that you would adapt. For some of you, it may have taken 3 to 4 years to adapt, or 44 months to adapt, or 16 years to adapt. I mentioned ones and sixes earlier. 15 years to adapt. It's taken some time. And I think that you knew that this place, yeah, you've heard of this place, where they call it unaffected by your environment. In this card here, it's almost as if you heard about this place and you were like, I have to get up and over there. You've heard about it. You heard about this place in the clouds. And not many people have the courage that you do to go and explore this place in the clouds that they mentioned, where you're so high vibing. Your frequency is so high that you are unimpacted by anyone and anything else around you. It can't touch you. 4 of Cups, because it's not strong enough to touch you. Six of Cups, but it's taken much time to get here. Many sleepless nights, a lot of confusion, a lot of people being worried about you, you being worried about yourself, you being worried about other people worrying about you. I think you came from a very low place, a very low frequency, a very low balling arena. And it took so much for you to get here where you are. You had to go through so much to get to where you are. But it all, and it was a lot of different things that you had to go through, but it all led to this one space, this one place, and that's you, your home, your center. who you actually are, who you were sent here to this earth to be. You're here, you've arrived. Again, you're born in this space. It's up to you to find yourself again. And again, not many people go on this quest because it sounds like a folklore to most. A place of fantasy that doesn't truly exist. And you're like, yeah, well, it's got to be better than this. Peace out. And you went on your quest. You went on your journey. You went through your dark nights of the soul. You've experienced loneliness. You've experienced karmic patterns and results that you weren't happy with. So you decided to be the change. And now you're being equipped. Because you were brave enough to go on this quest, you are one of few that are given permission to access certain energies because you ascended high enough. Past all the bullshit, the down talkers and the naysayers, and your own bullshit down talking and naysaying, because that happens too. You had to go back in time and undo your past by sitting through it, healing with it, so that you didn't have to live with it forever. You've explored different topics such as fantasy versus reality, love and war, and curiosity. But here you are, as high as the mountains reach, where the people help you, where before they used to only try to hurt you. This felt like a fantasy land. Isn't a Pharisee a word? Define Pharisee. It's a lot of people laughing outside right now. Pharisee, member of an ancient Jewish sect. Oh, hold on. Define Pharisee. A self-righteous person, a hypocrite. Okay. There's a reason why I accidentally said that word. You are like metal or steel in an environment right now that is mostly like mush or swampland. That makes you a hot commodity because, again, you will wear differently over time. You're not as easily manipulated, changed, altered in such a short amount of time. Yes, there's something here about the journey, the quest, the elongated path or process. Feels like it's taking you a long time to get here, my friend. Again, you thought that you never would enter these grounds because you thought that maybe it was just a fantasy. Dang, I just realized this too. In this card as well, off in the distance, there is a place like that people allude to. You've touched that land that people allude to. For some of you, people could have considered you the self-righteous or the hypocrite because you believed in yourself enough to get here. Here we are about that curiosity. You've had a lot of questions and theories that arose over this time about curiosity and if you should test it, if you should try it. The number 7 could be relevant to you. You could be seeing lots of 7, 77. This is the Ace of Wands that landed over here with the 5 of Wands. Immediately I took it from over there because you don't belong there with this. If you bring it over here, then it turns into 6 Wands, which does reference towards arrogance, stuck up energy, self-righteousness. But when you remove it, so it's something about your environment. That's what this card says, by the way. I don't know if I showed this to you. But remember I talked about you being steel, like metal. Around other steel and metal, you don't really hold much value because we're all here. But in the swamp or in this marshy land or wherever this is, this other environment, you are more needed, more necessary. You've seen some sort of connection between where you were and where you were needed. That's why somehow this whole process has made you unshakable. No matter where you are, no matter where you stand, you realize, oh, I'm metal. So if I'm in a space and it's not really working out, maybe there's too much metal. So I need to find a different space where I am needed or necessary. I'm speaking in metaphorical terms. I know you'll be able to keep up. One more over here. Eight of Swords. You started shifting the blame, again, realizing that, okay, this is what's going on in this environment, which means that it's not the environment that makes me, but it's who I am in this environment. I can mold myself to be what I want to be in this environment, as opposed to letting this environment mold me to what it wants me to be. Again, I really do feel like maybe you're the type that might have been pointed the finger at as like a Pharisee, or someone that's full of themselves, or arrogant or narcissistic, or basically listening to yourself too much. That's the argument here. Anything else about this? Yeah, the Fool card in the reverse. And that's what it is, because you allowed yourself to talk up to yourself about this place in faraway lands unknown that not many people reach. You've heard all the scary stories like, oh, this will happen before you even reach it. This will happen. That'll happen. And because you wouldn't listen to that, you could have been called many different things, many different names. And that's what made being in this environment difficult, or just not feeling understood or seen or heard or felt. Yes. Oh my gosh. And now you're going to be the one with the stories of the land far, far away, unknown, where it's like, oh yeah, like you could totally do this. All you have to do is this, 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 and look at that. The Two of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Does this not even look like this? Even if you know nothing about what I'm saying, does this not look like an explorer that's just sailed across the 7 seas and now he's here to tell everybody about what he's experienced? That's going to be you. That is you. Because of everything that we just went through right here. Your 2 final closing cards. Look at that. They're going somewhere. They're doing something. There's action. There's motion. There's messages. There's conversations to be had. There's shit to talk about here. And that's you. You got stories to tell. You have information to give. And this looks like a lot of different things in your lives. There's hundreds of millions of bajillions of trillions of eyes tuned into this. So, you know, your life, every lifestyle is different. So for some of you, this will be you showing up for yourself, defending yourself in whatever way that you need be. This is you showing up in your workplace as like the MVP, the fire starter, the firecracker that everybody needs. For others of you, this looks like you showing up for your family in a way that you've always wanted to, and now you have the means to do so, so you can. All because you decided to ascend to this place that they call high frequency. People talk about it, but there's nothing like experiencing it, and so you have. I don't even know what I'm titling this video. When I came here, my idea was something about you being like made of steel, like your environment unable to touch you. I don't know, but whatever this ends up being titled, we'll see, and I pray that it reaches the right ones. Sending you love, and this has been your chit chat with Cherry.